Hello and welcome to a special late night video tonight. You'll probably see this in a couple days, but when I'm recording this, it's a lot later than my usual bedtime, so we gotta get into things a little bit. We got a lot to talk about, but kind of not that much, and I'm rambling already, and we're 10 seconds in. So let's get right into the meat of this. Basically, if you guys aren't aware, about 2 weeks ago, and I promise all this backtracking is very important to what we're talking about in today's video. About 10 days ago or 2 weeks, somewhere in that range, India and China got into a bit of a confrontation, and as a result, India decided that they were going to ban a whole lot of Chinese apps in India. One of those apps being TikTok. Now, it turns out that after India really looked into TikTok and looked into the software, as well as some other people, I think Anonymous posted on Twitter about it, as well as some other people on 4chan and Reddit, talking about how primarily the TikTok app is basically just a data farm for China to take your information and then use that information as part of big data, which is just, huge, massive sets of data, which they can use to advertise better, charge more, whatever. So what does this have to do with Apex Legends? Well, the US government took notice of this, and they are actually in the process, as I'm recording this video, of getting TikTok banned in the United States. This has gone before all the different floors of government, since it's something that is an international issue, because TikTok doesn't really have any basis in the United States. It comes from a Chinese company, which is connected with the Chinese government. They do a lot of things very differently in China than we do here in the States, and in the UK and Canada, which are my three primary viewer bases. And essentially over there, any real big company usually has some affiliation with the Chinese government, and in turn, the Chinese government takes data and revenue from them. And whenever they need funds or whenever they need backing, the Chinese government gives them that little push that they need to make sure that they are successful, which we don't really have in any of the countries that I listed, and probably the country that you're from. So as I previously mentioned, the United States took some serious notice of that, and pretty much it's set in stone that TikTok will be eventually banned in the US, and probably a lot of other countries following that. And at first, everything seemed all fine and dandy, but then just yesterday, China fired back, and they were pretty angry. They were angry at India, they were angry at the United States for considering banning their stuff. And this comes in the wake of some other things as well. The US has been banning Chinese phones as well, which I'll have up on screen because I don't want to mispronounce it. If you're hearing me say it, it's pronounced right. If not, it means I chopped it out because I butchered it. But just to kind of sum all that stuff up, the United States and China are kind of beefing right now. We got a little bit of feud between the two countries. And so what does this mean? This means that EA, who is partnered with, as we all know, Disney, but also a Chinese mobile app developing company called Tencent. Now, this is humongous because Tencent is our way into the Chinese market for any kind of phone applications. So without this connection between EA and Tencent, there's no way that Apex Legends would ever be getting to China. And the real primary reason, if you've seen my previous videos on Apex Mobile, is that this game is really being developed for India and China, because those are the two primary countries which have humongous, combined, I think they have 2.5 billion people, which is a lot of cell phones. That's a lot of revenue that's being untapped by EA and Tencent. Now, since I mentioned that India and China are big time beefing more than the US and China, there's no way on earth that India would let an app run in their country, which has been partially created by Tencent, who, as I'm not sure if I mentioned, but they are indeed backed up with the Chinese government. So there's no way on earth India would let Apex Mobile run within their country if they know that China has some grasp on it, some roots in Apex Mobile. And on the flip side, EA couldn't really release it to China because after this, we're not really sure if Chinese and American apps are going to be accessed in both ways. Like, if you have an American app, it probably won't be accessible in China, which already previously was kind of the case. They've banned a majority of our social media. The Chinese Communist Party is very against social media as a whole, which was part of the reason why it was so easy to ban TikTok. A lot of the people who were advocating for its ban just kind of went up there and said, look, they don't allow us to have many of our apps in China. Why are we letting them data farm off our people? Which honestly, yeah, is a pretty fair point. But that's not good for Apex, because that was going to be one of the largest revenue streams that EA has, because they don't really have many mobile applications right now, especially ones that are as far-reaching as India and China. So this could have broader implications than just Apex Mobile. If you've heard about the press call, which I talked about in my previous Apex Mobile videos, it was originally planned for Apex Mobile to come out sometime between October and January 1st of 2021, which would have helped fund the new respawn location in Vancouver, as well as the main respawn location in, I believe, Los Angeles. So without that huge revenue stream, it's not like Respawn's going to go under or anything. They're just not going to have those extra funds lying around to help them out in other ways, whether it's creating another branch or whether it's making new areas or hiring new employees, because they're also taking on the Star Wars responsibilities for some parts. There are other companies that are handling like Star Wars Starfighter right now, but it seems like Respawn's going to be getting a little bit more of the responsibility of Star Wars since Jedi the Fallen Order did so well. Having said all that though, hopefully Tencent and EA will still be able to come to some kind of agreement. As of right now, it doesn't really look like there's going to be any kind of agreeing going on, especially because of the already damaged relations between the two countries due to the unnameable plague. Just kind of seems like this is all a really bad situation for trying to release a mobile game from the US to China. Now, EA could definitely cut their losses. I'm sure that the relationship between India and the US is far better than it is with China at the moment. So, I mean, accessing 2 billion plus people in India with Apex Mobile would still be a pretty good alternative, at least in my mind. So let me know what you guys think down below. Have you been covering this more closely than I have? And if so, honestly, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think that it's even safe to have Apex Legends Mobile running in the US if we see this kind of stuff that China's government is using to already farm our data through apps like TikTok? I believe WhatsApp was also banned in India, and potentially, I haven't heard much about it being banned in the United States, but who knows? The way things are going, it seems like stuff is just going to keep getting crazier and crazier. Who knows what 2020 has for us? I'm literally reading an article while I'm talking about this about sharks that walk on land in Australia that were just discovered. So really anything is possible. If sharks can hop out of the water and walk to your house, why the heck can't China and India and the United States all come to an agreement so that we can bond over Apex Legends? That's going to be it for me though, guys. No need to make this video 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me on this educational and informational journey. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button before you head out. And if you're not already, you can join the club by hitting that red subscribe button right underneath. And make sure to smack that bell if you want to make sure you get notifications whenever I post, at least sometimes, whenever YouTube wants to work. Again though, thank you for watching, and until next time, guys, take it easy.